And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
You know, there's no turn it on here, turn it off here. It's just 110% at all times. So, you know, if I burn out, I burn out.
Pierce had it poked away, stolen by Jordan. Lojas down on the floor. It's here's to Humphries. 4 to shoot. Humphries 3 in it.
You like the idea. Jordan coming up with the steal.
Oh, look
again.
at that. The 40-year-old dives to the hardwood.
To have a long career, that's the goal, to be in the league for 20 years. I tell you, that's the goal.
You know, it's all about winning championships and winning.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
Kevin Durant dropped a comment on LeBron's podcast that quietly crossed a line most people never expected him to touch. LeBron didn't push back. He laughed, relaxed, like it was pure entertainment. The tone made it seem harmless, like a joke between friends, but the target was clear. They assumed they could poke at Michael Jordan's legacy in plain sight and let it slide under the radar. That assumption didn't last long because what followed stripped the moment down to exactly what it was. The reaction was instant. Former teammates spoke up, fans exploded, and the conversation flipped overnight. Jordan's legacy didn't need defending speeches or emotional responses. It answered with facts, context, and history that made both LeBron and Durant look careless. The moment came from Mind the Game, LeBron James' podcast, co-hosted with JJ Redick, with Kevin Durant sitting alongside Steve Nash. What was meant to be high-level basketball discussion between respected players drifted into something else. Instead of insight, it felt like side commentary. Two modern superstars smiling, trading remarks, convinced they were being slick, while taking quiet shots at the standard everyone else is still measured against.
Yeah, I'm 10, 12 years in, I got 4 MVPs and 4 championships. Like, but do I still want to do this? You know what I'm saying?
You know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
Right?
Yeah. And then I want to come back. Or some people say, I'm going to go 22 straight.
Coward.
We come to practice, he's on one leg. Like, he was hurt the second year, he was on one leg the whole year and played 82 games. Like, and so he practiced every day and he played every game on one leg. And so you're like, man, MJ, why don't you just sit up? How can I be the leader of the team and sit out and y'all going through all the credit? I got to be there.
I twisted my ankle, and I had a teammate, David Greenwood. He says, you know, you twist your ankle, young fella, come over and sit with me. You know, this is, you need to. I said, no, man, I'm trying to make a name for myself. There's no way I can sit. You know, I need to get out there and show what I'm capable of. I want to play. I want to win. I want to make an impact.
Durant framed it as a conversation about commitment, about the moment every long-tenured player reaches when they have to ask themselves if they still want to keep going. He talked about the mental grind, the years piling up, and how veterans eventually question their hunger for the game. Then he slipped in the line that changed the energy. Durant said some guys decide they want to go play baseball and come back later, while others stay locked in and go 22 straight seasons. For a brief moment, the room stalled. Everyone caught it. Then LeBron laughed. Not a courtesy laugh, not a quick reaction, but a real one. He understood the comparison instantly, and so did the audience. Durant wasn't being abstract. He was lining up Michael Jordan's baseball retirement against LeBron's uninterrupted run. The implication was obvious. Jordan stepped away. Longevity in this framing outweighed dominance. Steve Nash nodded along while LeBron kept smiling. And in that stretch, it stopped being a neutral discussion. It turned into a shared signal, a quiet attempt to reshape the narrative. The idea that lasting longer matters more than overwhelming an era. That endurance should be valued above total control of the game. But that's where the logic starts to break down.
All right, Laker Nerd asks, why is the triangle offense less utilized in today's game?
To try to run the triangle offense right now, it'd be very challenging just because how the game is played and also how defense is covering.
10 to shoot. Jake going right to the rack. No defensive communication.
Why is ring culture so much more prevalent in the NBA than in other sports?
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's discussed so much in our sport and why it's the A-all, B-all of everything.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Garth Gilmore told me one time, he played for Chicago, he said, if you expect to play a long time in this league, you better quit mopping up the floor. And I thought, well, he's crazy because that's what basketball is all about.
Bird takes it away from Wilkins, goes to the floor and gets it. Gets it up ahead.
But they conveniently skipped over the one detail that changes the entire conversation, the part that makes their framing feel not just flawed, but offensive. Michael Jordan didn't walk away in 1993 because he lost interest. He didn't step aside because basketball stopped challenging him or because he needed a new thrill. Jordan retired because his father was murdered. James Jordan was killed that summer during a robbery, shot and left on the side of the road. The man who shaped Michael's mindset, who pushed him relentlessly, who believed in him before the world did, was suddenly gone. At the absolute height of his powers, fresh off 3 straight championships, Jordan stepped away from the game. Not because he quit, but because he was grieving. Because he wanted to honor his father by chasing the dream they had spoken about together, playing professional baseball. That context matters. So when Kevin Durant casually tosses out the baseball line with a grin, it isn't some sharp observation. It strips one of the most painful chapters of Jordan's life down to a throwaway comparison. That's where it crosses into disrespect. And LeBron, sitting right there laughing along, effectively cosigned it. Neither of them stopped to acknowledge why Jordan left. Neither mentioned James Jordan. They cracked the joke and moved forward, acting as if the full story didn't matter. And let's be clear about the timing. Jordan didn't retire after a collapse, an early playoff exit, or a humiliating finals loss. He retired after winning his 3rd straight championship. He completed a three-peat. He reached the summit of the sport. Something Magic Johnson never did. Something Larry Bird never did. Something Isaiah Thomas never did. And he did it while carrying unimaginable personal loss. Many basketball minds agree that Jordan's stretch from 1991 to 1993 remains the greatest peak the game has ever seen. The best player performing at his absolute ceiling. Calling that quitting isn't just inaccurate, it's deeply insulting.
But you have to really play hard. Does that hurt you physically?
No, because when I play hard all the time. You know, there's no turn it on here, turn it off here. It's just 110% at all times.
It might not be in the team's best interest, in your best interest, to play all 82. Is that something you've thought about at all since you made the goal?
Man, that's a goal, but we'll see.
The next day,
I'm available to go and be in the pro. If OBJ shows up, he might score 100.
You play basketball 2.5 hours a day, 3 hours a day, right? That's your job. That's what you get paid to do as an NBA player. What are you doing the other 21 hours? I mean, to me, that's when you should be preparing for your next day of work.
Now, here's where the irony becomes impossible to ignore. Look at who's delivering these comments. Kevin Durant, a player whose own career is defined by exits, made the remarks. In 2016, after blowing a series to the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, Durant made a decision that permanently reshaped how people view him. He didn't come back to beat them. He joined them. A 73-win team already loaded with Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, a move many fans still call the weakest in league history. The criticism was immediate, but Durant chased the easy rings anyway. And it didn't stop there. After Golden State, he bailed on Brooklyn. He couldn't deliver, couldn't handle the pressure, and demanded out once things got hard. Then came Phoenix, another situation he walked away from before 3 full seasons passed. This is the same player now labeling Michael Jordan a quitter. A man who has spent his career hopping situations suddenly lecturing about commitment. Then there's LeBron. When things got tough in Cleveland the first time, he left for South Beach to join Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. When Miami declined in 2014, he exited. When Cleveland became uncomfortable again, he headed to Los Angeles. Each time adversity showed up, there was an escape route. So for these two to sit on a podcast and mock Jordan for stepping away after a three-peat, following the murder of his father, takes an astonishing lack of self-awareness. And the disrespect didn't stop with the baseball remark. Durant doubled down, arguing that the real goal for players should be lasting 20 years. Not championships, not MVPs, not squeezing every ounce out of their prime. Just longevity, just being around. LeBron nodded along as if this was some profound insight, like existing longer somehow outweighs complete domination. This is exactly where Michael Jordan's philosophy shatters their argument without him saying a word. Jordan never chased longevity, he chased perfection. Every season was about maximizing himself, maximizing his team, winning titles, winning MVPs, dominating both ends of the floor. If that approach shortened his career, he accepted it. Jordan said it plainly. If he burned out, he burned out. That meant his career was shorter, and he'd walk away knowing he gave everything. That mindset built the standard they're still chasing today.
You know, the fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy way up on top who probably worked his ass off to get a ticket or to get money to buy the ticket.
You really cared about the guy who sat in the top deck at the Palace in Auburn Hills to watch you when you came to Detroit?
Yeah, because I know he's probably yelling at me and I want to shut him up. So if the guys are coming to watch me play, I don't want to miss that opportunity. Now, physically, if I can't do it, then I can't do it. But physically, if I can do it, and I just don't feel like doing it, that's a whole different lens.
What do you think of when you hear the term load management thrown around?
It shouldn't be needed, first and foremost. You know, I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove. It was something that I felt like, you know, the fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy.
He wasn't focused on stretching his career to 20 years. His obsession was being the best, winning, building a legacy rooted in dominance, not durability. That distinction matters. Because when you compare that mindset to what Durant just laid out, the contrast is glaring. Playing 20 years becomes the goal. Not greatness, not legacy, just survival. Just sticking around, just collecting checks. Jordan played 15 seasons total, and only 13 full ones when you account for his retirements. In that span, he captured 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 5 regular season MVPs, 10 scoring titles, and earned 9 all-defensive selections. That isn't merely impressive. It's borderline flawless, a resume that still stands alone. Now look at Durant and LeBron together. 39 combined seasons. Nearly 3 times the length of Jordan's peak. Almost 40 years of professional basketball between them, and what's the return? 6 championships total, 5 regular season MVPs, 6 finals MVPs, 5 scoring titles, 5 combined all-defensive selections. In nearly 4 decades, they produced less than Jordan did in roughly a decade. Twice the time, half the results. That's the real difference between longevity and greatness. Jordan wasn't just talking theory when he explained his approach to the game. He lived it. As a rookie in 1984, he played all 82 games, every single one. Only 40 players across the entire league did that season. It was normal. It was expected. Jordan averaged 38.3 minutes per game, ranking near the top of the league immediately. His total minutes placed him among the leaders from day one, trailing only Buck Williams and Larry Bird. Michael Jordan was an Iron Man in a far tougher era. The game was more physical, travel was harsher, teams flew commercial. Training staffs were minimal, practices were longer and harder. Back-to-backs were constant, 3 games in 4 nights happened routinely, and players still showed up. In the 1999 to 2000 season alone, 58 players appeared in all 82 games. More than half the league taking the floor every night, giving fans what they paid to see. Now compare that to today. In 2022, the fewest players in NBA history completed a full season. Then 2023 broke that record. Then 2024. Then 2025. The worst era for player availability the league has ever seen is unfolding right now. In the 2020s, when athletes have more resources and advantages than ever before. Private jets, full medical teams, sports science departments, personalized nutrition plans, state-of-the-art training facilities, ice baths, cryotherapy, massage therapists, sleep coaches. Every modern advantage imaginable, yet players are on the floor less than ever. The question is why? Because the mindset shifted. The standard changed. When LeBron normalized sitting out games simply because he was tired, it sent a message across the league. If the top player can rest, why shouldn't everyone else? That mentality trickled down fast. Role players started resting. Bench players followed. Soon, the league adopted the belief that regular season games don't really matter unless it's the playoffs. And now, even postseason games aren't guaranteed. It's become acceptable to disappoint fans who paid hundreds of dollars for tickets, simply because a player doesn't feel like playing that night. Jordan addressed this mindset perfectly without ever naming anyone. He spoke about load management, about resting while healthy, about choosing comfort over competition. He said he never wanted to miss a game because every night was a chance to prove something. The fans were watching. He wanted to impress the guy sitting way up in the top row, the one who worked overtime just to afford a ticket. That's the difference. Jordan respected the game. He respected the fans. He understood that being in the NBA was a privilege, not an inconvenience. LeBron has played a full 82-game season once in his entire career. Once in over 20 years. Players like Bird, Kobe, Duncan, even Allen Iverson did it multiple times. Yet the so-called face of the league, the man chasing Jordan's throne, managed it one time. Durant isn't much different. He's completed a full season only 3 times in his career. These are the same players preaching longevity like it's a badge of honor, as if simply showing up longer matters more than showing out. There's a story that captures Jordan's mentality perfectly. Former Bulls center Artis Gilmore once told a young Jordan that if he wanted to play a long time in the league, he should stop diving for loose balls, stop hitting the floor, preserve his body. Jordan's reaction was disbelief. That to him was basketball. He didn't care about extending his career. He cared about playing the right way, giving everything he had, competing at the highest level every single night. Jordan and Larry Bird both played fewer than 15 full seasons, but every one of those seasons meant something. Why? Because they emptied the tank every single night. Diving for loose balls. Locking in defensively. Doing whatever the moment demanded to win. They didn't pace themselves. They didn't think about year 20. They thought about that night's game and that season's title. They understood something that's been lost over time. Greatness is built on intensity, not longevity. On quality, not quantity. And their legacies prove it. No one questions Larry Bird's greatness because he played 13 seasons. No one questions Michael Jordan's greatness because he retired more than once. The doubts always follow the players who stayed longer and achieved less. When that episode of Mind the Game dropped, the reaction was instant. Fans pushed back, former players pushed back, and Jordan's old teammates absolutely pushed back. Stacey King, a 3-time champion alongside Jordan in Chicago, didn't hold back. He mocked the episode outright, sarcastically calling it the Cry Me a River podcast, and tore into LeBron and Durant for constantly trying to sell people on their own greatness. King made a simple point. Truly great players don't need to announce it. Fans do that. Analysts debate it. Radio shows argue it. Players don't have to campaign for themselves. He said when you start reminding people how great you are and explaining why you belong above others, that's when it becomes a problem. That's why he called it a crying session. And he wasn't finished. King went straight at Durant's longevity argument, pointing out the hypocrisy. Durant talked about dedication and 20-year careers but left out load management. Left out the fact that he's played all 82 games only 3 times. And LeBron? Once. King also highlighted Durant's postseason record outside of Golden State. Since leaving Steph Curry, there's been nothing to validate the talk. The Brooklyn run failed. The Phoenix run failed. All that talent, all those seasons, and no results without a super team. Social media exploded. One fan summed it up perfectly. Some people lose their father and go play baseball. Some people join a 73-win team. Some people get caught using burner accounts and then bounce from roster to roster. That contrast is why this debate even exists. Never came close to that level of success again. Then had the nerve to say the goal is simply to play forever, not to actually win at the highest level. Fans were quick to point out the irony. Jordan stepped away in the middle of a three-peat, came back, and immediately dominated the league again. Meanwhile, the same players questioning his commitment can't come close to matching his resume. Durant didn't back down. He jumped on social media and doubled down, writing that Jordan retired twice and that it didn't matter to him. He brushed it off, saying he'd hear that argument every day for the rest of his life. Then came the defense. The game is faster now. There's more stress on ligaments, more running, more strain. Fans weren't buying it. Not the ones who watched Jordan play through hand-checking, real physical defense and brutal contact that's largely gone today. Not the ones who remember Jordan playing through injuries that would sideline modern stars for weeks. What Durant and LeBron don't seem to understand is that when you try to pull legends down to elevate yourself, it almost always backfires. It doesn't make you look bigger. It exposes insecurity. It signals that you don't feel secure standing next to that standard, so you try to lower it. Jordan never did that. Kobe never did that. They respected the players who came before them. They honored the history of the game. They built their legacies by winning, not by debating careers on podcasts. Here's the part that doesn't need defending because it defends itself. Michael Jordan's legacy still carries weight today. Recently, the league brought him back into the NBA world not as a player, but as an ambassador, a voice, someone capable of influencing the culture of the game. That didn't happen by accident. It happened because even now, decades after retirement, Jordan's presence commands respect. When Jordan speaks, people listen. When he talks about competition, about showing up, about respecting the fans, it resonates. It matters. That's his real response to Durant and LeBron. Not a podcast clip, not a tweet. His response is relevance. His response is that when the league needs its standard reset, they don't call today's stars. They call Michael Jordan. Everything Jordan built still stands, and at the end of the day, everyone is measured against it. Every debate circles back to him. Every all-time list starts with his name at the top. Every conversation about greatness uses him as the reference point, and no amount of longevity will ever change that. No podcast episode will rewrite history. No load-managed career will recreate what he did. Michael Jordan didn't chase years. He chased greatness. And greatness doesn't need 20 seasons to validate itself. Sometimes it only needs one run, one peak, one stretch so overwhelming it defines an era. Jordan had 13 seasons like that. 13 years of complete dominance. 6 championships. A perfect finals record. 10 scoring titles. 9 all-defensive selections. 5 MVPs. The greatest peak the sport has ever seen. Put Durant and LeBron together and you're looking at nearly 40 combined seasons in the league. And even with all that time, all those games, all that mileage, they still haven't matched him, and they never will. So yes, Michael Jordan did respond to Durant and LeBron. He just didn't need to mention them. His resume answered for him. His mindset answered for him. His approach to the game answered for him. That response is louder than any podcast clip. Louder than any joke. Louder than any longevity stat. Because when people think of basketball greatness, they don't think about load management. They don't think about playing forever. They don't think about microphones and debates. They think about Michael Jordan. Pure, undeniable, unstoppable greatness. If you think today's NBA has lost its edge, hit the like button. If you think players need to start respecting the game and the legends who built it, drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns exposing what's really going on in basketball, make sure you subscribe because this conversation isn't finished.